Hey guys, Cadin here, and I'm gonna let you guys know right now this video is split into chapters, and that's because before I get into the tier list, I'm gonna just kind of talk about some things regarding like this channel and just basically what's been happening, I guess, what I'm planning on doing. So if you don't want to hear me just yap about random stuff and just want to get straight to the tier list, then skip to the timestamp provided in the chapter like section down at the bottom. But for those of you that do want to listen to me yap for about random stuff, first of all, thanks for giving me extra watch time, and second, I've got a couple of things to talk about. First of all, I don't know why, but for some reason, the video I made 2 years ago about Eminem talking about how Epic abandoned Save the World in summer of 2020, it just randomly decided to pop off. I have a feeling it's because it kind of started popping off, like, it started getting gradually more views at around the time that Eminem was announced to come to the item shop, and then after that, just like, about a week ago is when it started getting super popular. It's sitting at like 68,000 views as of me recording this video, and it is now my most popular video on my channel. Yeah, that's right. Your mom lore has finally been dethroned. But basically, I kind of had the thought to myself, you know, with the channel kind of growing, maybe it would be wise to start making videos because I haven't really made that many videos lately, and that's mostly because I'm honestly kind of burnt out. I don't really know what to do with YouTube anymore. I don't have the same love for it that I used to have, and I really don't know why. So I got this new PC for Christmas with the intention of making new videos and stuff for YouTube, and I just haven't. And I want to say that's probably because I'm not a big fan of the state that Fortnite's in right now. And so my idea right now that I'm having is I'm going to just make a simple type of video, like, you know, this tier list thing that I'm making right now. Just a simple video to try and get me back into the groove of making normal videos. So hopefully this will improve my mood around content creation, and hopefully this video does well, because, you know, I've actually gained subscribers now, finally, off of that video of Eminem predicting the future of Fortnite. This is like the first time my subscriber count has gone up since like 2020. And I gotta say, I'm excited about that. So, yeah, without further ado, let's finally get into the tier list. And there's one thing that I do need to add at the bottom here. I need to add a row below for seasons that I did not play. So let me just go ahead. I'll change this to this blue right here. Just didn't play. All right. That does save. Okay, cool. So we're going to go ahead and knock these out. These are the easy ones. Season 0, Season 1, and Season 2, I did not play. But honestly, I really wish I played Season 2, because if I did, I'd probably put it up in S tier, and that'll probably show a little bit of bias that I'm going to be having for this video. But anyway, let's move on. Chapter 1, Season 3. This is the first season of the game that I played, and I gotta say, I'm gonna put that thing in A tier. This can be very easily seen as me being blinded by nostalgia, but honestly, I don't care. I thoroughly enjoyed the game when I first started playing it. Actually, that's a bit of a lie. At first, I didn't get it, but then I decided to play it a little bit more, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this game's pretty good. And obviously, I guess I decided to stick around because I've played ever since, basically every day up until like this new chapter release, and I've like not really played it that much. Which might be surprising, because for those of you that don't know, I'm level 325. And that's mostly because I did the XP glitch for Lego mode. You know, now that I think about it, that might be a reason why I'm burnt out. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Let's go ahead and move on. I don't really have a lot to say about Season 3 other than I liked it. And now, moving on to Chapter 1, Season 4. And this, I'm pretty sure, is my all-time favorite season. I love Season 4, bro. Most of my friends also share this opinion. Season 4 was, like, probably the peak of this game. I don't know about, like, straight numbers if it was the true peak of this game, but, like, gameplay-wise and just enjoyment factor of the overall community, this was the peak. This, I don't know if anything has topped this or ever will, but at least in my opinion, this was the peak of the game. Like, we had, this was like when the storyline of the game, when it was still good, first of all, and when it was actually started, and the secret skin, the visitor, and just the fact that there was like a live event that took place in a game. No other game had done that before. I'm sure this point has been drilled into you by like so many other fucking content creators, but no other game did this shit before. Fortnite was the first to do they're on a whole nother level, dude. The Epic Games was going crazy in 2018. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to not as good of a season, in my personal opinion. Chapter 1, Season 5. I would honestly probably put this in, like, I don't know, either B or C tier. For now, I'm going to put it in C tier. I actually used to hate this season a couple, like, about a year or two ago, and that's because I'm a nerd-ass bitch who was, like, extremely hung up about how the meta for this season was complete ass, which is not wrong, but then again, I have to take into account the fact that when I did play this season, I was still bad at the game, and I had a shit ton of fun playing, because this was like, this was the first season when I was playing on Xbox, and I was actually able to play with friends, so that's like a massive factor into like my enjoyment of the season. You know what? Honestly, I'll move it up to B tier, just because of that, just because of that, honestly. And like, next season, season 6. This season, actually, wait, no, this is not what I was thinking of. Never mind, scratch that point. Season 6, honestly, it was okay. This was like when the butterfly event happened. This was the second Fortnitemares that brought out zombies and stuff. Not a lot of people liked zombies, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'd say overall this season was all right. They one other thing, I guess, they bought out the AK in this season. I really like the AK. It's a great weapon. And, I don't know where to put this. I guess, I don't know if it was as good as Season 5. You know what, I think this is probably fine. C tier is probably fine. And then Season 7, this was the season that I got my first solo in. That was the point that I was going to bring up during Season 6, but I'd forgotten. This Season 7 was when I got my first solo win. Actually, hold on, wait a second. This was the season when they bought out the gold pump. I'm moving this up a tier. Anyway, so Season 7, this was plain season. This was basically when Mongrel got popular for communicating through Morse code in a BR game, and also when the sword came out and he was screaming about Thanos in the tournament.
What the fuck is Thanos in the game? Sing, 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 sing. Why is that in the game? Sing, sing. I wasted like 700 mats on that.
A bunch of classic Mongrel clips came from this season, but overall, I'd say that the game wasn't very well balanced. It was a Christmas season. It was kind of cool. The map was covered in snow for December like 24th and 25th, and then it was immediately brought back to normal. And then there was one of the worst events in the game that recovered the map in snow and also brought back zombies. But I mean, I don't really know. The Marshmallow concert was this season. It was the first, like, I think it was the first of its kind, but overall, I'd still have to probably put this in, like, C tier. And now next up, Season 8. The first 2 weeks of Season 8, I gotta say, before they removed, like, Siphon that they added, like, at the end of this season to try and compete with Apex Legends, the first 2 weeks of Season 8 are S tier. But then after that, they removed Siphon from pub games, and then just, it was like a slight downgrade, but overall, my enjoyment of this season was still very high. We had the unvaulting event during this season, which unfortunately brought back the drum gun, and people were really mad about that, to the point where, the first update of Season 9, it got its damage nerfed, like, really hard, but it was still pretty good. Then it got nerfed again, and it was still, like, mid, I guess. But anyways, that's just kind of, I'm moving on to the next season is what I'm doing right now, but I'm sticking right here for now. Also, if you can't tell by, like, my voice, I'm kind of sick right now while recording this. I'm getting over a really bad cold, but who really cares, honestly? We're here making this tier list video. Let's keep going. So, Season 8, let's see. This was when the infantry rifle got converted to hit scan and became one of the best weapons in the game. This is when they added the flintlock pistol. This was pirate season. Basically, it was just good. I really did enjoy season 8. I'm confident with A tier actually. And now move into season 9, the first season on this list that I don't really like. Season 9 was when the first season they decided that it would be a good idea to vault the pump shotgun. It wasn't. And then they introduced the combat shotgun, which during like the first 2 days of the season did not work properly. But when they fixed it, that weapon was disgusting. It was undisputedly like probably the best weapon in the game for like the entirety of when it was still in. Like up until like the amazing hotfix during Season X that removed it and a bunch of other things. But yeah, overall Season 9, the event was good. I'll give it that. The event was really good. But like just overall Season 9 was not good, especially main things that bring the season down. Neo Tilted was mid. The combat shotgun was disgusting. The drum gun was going crazy for the first week, but then they brought it down a little bit. You know what? Actually, the summer event for this season was good, which I cannot say for a few upcoming seasons. So I'm still going to keep this in D tier. I did not enjoy this season hardly at all. And now, Season X. This one's going to get a bit controversial, but don't worry. I, like most people, agree that the first half of Season X was undoubtedly an F tier. But after the hotfix that I mentioned during my Season 9 discussion, the season gradually started to get a little bit better. And then they vaulted mechs, which honestly, I'm gonna be so for real right now. Season X without mechs, that's a weird sentence. Season X with no mechs was honestly insanely fun. That's probably gonna be a hot take. This season, if it never had mechs, would have been like one of the best seasons ever. There was just so much cool stuff going on. You know what? I'll give it this. Some of the rift zones were a bit strange. Like the first introduction to no build with Tilted Town, a lot of people didn't like that. And then they added no build, and then a lot of people did like that. But overall, just an incredibly mixed season with like one of the worst starts ever to one of the best endings ever. And let's not forget, the end event for this season is like still a top 3 event in my opinion. And also, it's just a personal thing, but this is when they decided to add the gold version of the TAC SMG, and while I'm not going to argue that it was really overpowered, I loved it. I love the TAC SMG. I loved the TAC SMG in this season. It was awesome. I'm gonna move on now. Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 1. Amazing start. Brand new map, dude. Like the experience of getting a new map for the first time was crazy. And then they didn't do anything for the entire season. I'll say this, the Fortnitemares was probably one of the best, with them actually adding the Storm King, which was really cool. The Storm King in BR, and then them also in, this is getting a little bit off topic from, I guess, Battle Royale, but in Save the World, they added the Mythic Storm King with mythic weapons, and it was just insane. Like, Chapter 2 Season 1 was like when Epic Games was at the very most trying to promote Save the World outside of when, like, before Battle Royale released. Like, they were doing, like, daily, or at the very least weekly tweets about stuff getting added to Save the World. And they even did like an announcement post congratulating Chedic for being the first person to beat the Mythic Storm King. We have not gotten that amount of support for our game mode in so long. And anyway, back to Battle Royale. Literally the only thing they got added during this season that was a permanent addition was the harpoon gun. And I don't know about you, I don't see it around anymore. I think it's gone now. Anyways, moving on from probably the most boring season of all time, Chapter 2, Season 2, the Controller Season. And I'm pretty sure you all know why I'm calling it this. We had Midas Drum Gun, Brutus Minigun, Sky's Scar. The MP5 was still really strong, and there was still the 2x headshot multiplier for most weapons. It was insane, dude. I've never seen so much spray in a single Well, actually, that's kind of a lie, but, yeah, this season had a massive problem with the spray meta, but overall, I still think it was pretty fun. This was the first season where they decided to do a spy theme. First out of 2, I'm pretty sure. And it was a swing and a hit. I'll keep it real. This season was pretty fun. I believe most people did enjoy it. And yeah, just overall, I guess we can't ignore the fact that this season introduced probably the most iconic story character, Midas. He's still really cool. I still think he's pretty cool, but I don't really have much to say. Actually, yes, I do. Spy games. The Spy games LTMs, I don't know if anybody else enjoyed them, but I loved them. Especially Drop Zone. Drop Zone was my absolute favorite one. I'm not sure the best way to explain them, but it was basically like TDMs, but you had to progressively unlock stuff in order to perform better. And it was just a really cool gameplay loop. I really enjoyed it. But anyway, we're moving on again to another not very good season. Chapter 2, Season 3. We're putting this into D tier. First of all, this was another season where they vaulted the pump, which, if you couldn't tell, I'm not a huge fan of when that happens, but I've kind of learned to get over it because it hasn't really been in the game a lot. I was going to say it hasn't been in the game in like 2 years, but then I remembered that this season happened. And this was also when they first added the charged shotgun, which I don't really hate anymore. But I hated this thing when it first came out. It was so... for the opposite reason of the combat shotgun. I hated the charged shotgun because it was bad. It was really bad. Remember, when it first released, it had 3 bullets in a mag and took like a second and a half to reload each shell. That's like a 4.5 second reload on an empty mag. It was ridiculous. The only viable one was kits. And then at some point along the line, they buffed the magazine, but only for the purple and gold, and it was only up by 1. And I think they might have reduced the reload speed, but I don't really know. Overall, just the map was also flooded this season. This was also the season that first added Coral Castle, which I don't really hate that POI. Maybe might come to you as a shocker, but I did not hate Coral Castle, but I know most everybody did. So that's automatically just a down factor at the very least. So I don't have anything else to say for this season. I just didn't enjoy it that much. But now, moving on to an actually pretty good season. Stark season. I think this was a lot of competitive players' favorite season because of obviously that's Stark Industries POI, that's why we call it Stark season. It was just a chaotic place to land at, and you never really knew what was going to go down there, because the best thing about that POI was obviously the Stark chests that pretty much always had like Stark rifles and like purple and gold pump shotguns in them, and at the time the purple pump could still hit for 200, which made landing here and getting like a purple pump or purple or gold, it was like basically a game winner loadout whenever you landed here. Just, dude, I'm honestly putting this in A tier. And also just pubs during the season was honestly so fun. Like, you had rotating superpowers coming in and out each week. There was just so much going on during this season, which was so refreshing, because like for the past 3 seasons, there wasn't really shit happening, because this season got extended by 2 months, making it the second longest season right behind it. Actually, no, I just remembered Fortnite Mobile has been stuck on this season since 2020. So this is technically the longest season ever, so that would make this the 3rd. Very stark contrast to many other Chapter 2 seasons. There was actually stuff to do, and that's why it's getting put up like in the A tier. Now we move on. Chapter 2, Season 5, I would say probably like a slight downgrade. This was the sand tunneling season that brought salty towers and also the introduction of the bar system and exotics and all that good stuff. Now, I would probably put this in like C tier or so, but one thing that really made this season was a certain bug that happened with the dub shotgun that made it so you could actually use 2 shotguns, the dub and one other, and there would be no shotgun delay. So for that alone, I'm moving it up at least 1 tier, because I'm a massive fan of double pump, bro. That's probably gonna sound like some loser ass shit, but I love double pump, man. But now we're we're moving on. I don't need to explain this ranking, bro. This was, like, the entirety of the Fortnite community agrees this is probably the worst season ever. Like, I'm gonna keep it so for real. This shit was so bad. Primal was just not it, man. We had the Spire, some whack-ass weapons, the Primal shotgun, which was busted crazy fucking bonkers for the first couple weeks before the Epic Games decided, yeah, nah, that ain't happening. And I don't know. There was some weird shit this season. Crafting back in like its really bad state, where you needed like 17 mechanical parts and a fucking whole ass, like, I don't even know, man. This season was just bad, bro. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. Indeed, we are to probably one of the best seasons ever. Chapter 2, Season 7 was crazy. This Alien season, this shit was so crazy. I'm repeating myself. Give me a second. There was so much good stuff added during this season. We finally got a reskin of the Stark rifle, and we had like I wasn't a big fan of the railgun, I'll keep it real. I thought it was really overpowered, but it was still a cool addition. We had we had abductors, bro. We had mid-match objectives where you just hopped inside of the mothership and battled other players to try and get crazy loot. It was so fun. This season was so fun. This was one of the greatest seasons ever made. And then following that up, I'm honestly also going to put Cubed into S tier as well, because my main meme reason as to why I put Chapter 2 Season 8 into S tier is because it ended Chapter 2, and I used to fucking despise this chapter, and that's mainly because of the C-Day comeback video where he was just like, can we all please just pretend that Chapter 2 didn't happen, because he personally did not like how the game felt during there, which caused him to not upload for 2 years. Go figure. And I don't know, I guess just back then I was just a huge dick rider, and I just decided, yeah, this chapter was garbage and there was no saving grace, and this was the only good season because it ended the chapter. But honestly, I still think it's an S tier, because it was like really cool. Like these 2 seasons coming into this one was like some of the most story building, like I guess action packed would that be the right term? I don't know, but yeah, anyway, this season was just good. This was the first time we had, like, voting for random stuff to, like, come into the game. We had voting to add a new weapon, which is my favorite weapon in the game, by the way. The combat assault rifle got added, and dude, it was insane, bro. The combat AR, I really hope it comes back someday. I don't know how they're gonna do it, especially with like modding in the game and stuff, but I really hope that someday the combat AR gets its time to shine, because it was so good, man. It was so good, bro. Anyway, I don't want to turn an entire section of a season into me just gushing about one weapon, but yeah, we had, basically the cube stuff all just kind of happened. We had like the sideways areas with like the minigun and the AR. Those were really cool. Then they added the scythe. I will say that the Venom mythic was really powerful and definitely should not have been in the state that it was, but I guess just the world building of the season was cool. We, for some reason, decided to add back the combat shotgun over the boogie bomb, but I'm not really complaining because I'm now actually a big fan of that weapon now that it's not as good as it used to be. That sounds really weird, but that's just how I work. I really like underrated weapons. And not only that, but like at the end of this season, we had the opportunity to bring back the mechs. And man, did those come back quick. Dude. And it was like a shitty version of the mech, so it wasn't really that that powerful, but man, those were fun to use, bro. And then, dude, the event for this season is still the best event that's ever happened in this game, at least in my opinion. That nothing will ever top the Foundation taking off his mask and revealing that it's fucking Dwayne Johnson. Like, that was crazy. I really wish that, like, when I was streaming it, that it didn't crash, because I would have had such an insane clip of me and Ian watching this, and we were just fucking laughing our asses off because Dwayne Johnson was in Fortnite. It was the funniest shit ever. But anyways, moving on to what is, in my opinion, probably like a top 3 season of all time, Chapter 3 Season 1. This is still the best start to any chapter ever. I love this season so much, and you know what, I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but dude, this season was so good. We had fucking Spider-Man. We had... The map was amazing, bro. The Winterfest was really cool. We had Santa driving around for the first time, just fucking running over random players and killing them for no reason. This was the first time we had, like, a real first-person weapon with the Mark 7. The snow melting for tilted towers to be revealed underneath the snow mound, bro. And then fucking... Dude, this season was so fucking good, with the exception of the Stinger SMG. I'll give it that. The Stinger was a bit too much. And I will also say now, with hindsight, that first-person weapons in a hit-scan game with Bloom used to be really overpowered, but that's not really as much of an issue now because of what Underground has done to the shooting model, which I do really like. Well, we're not there yet, so we're gonna... I'm deciding whether or not I keep talking about this or move on. I'd rather keep talking about this. The mid-season updates for this season were incredible. We had, with the Tilted Towers update, we got Klombo, still one of the coolest creatures to get out of this game. With the next update after that, we had the reworked version of the heavy shotgun, the Slug Heavy, with the new Covert Cavern POI that was like Grotto 2.0 with like an insane vault. That shit was that was nutty, bro. I don't think there's ever been a vault that's been better than that one. It had, on release, it got nerfed after this, but it had like 4 supply drops and like 6 IO chests. It was crazy, dude. That's unfortunately all that I can really say about this season. And now we gotta move on, man. We gotta fucking move on, bro. I fucking hate this shit, man. This shit's so bad. I hate this fucking season, bro. What the fuck is this? Resistance is one of the worst fucking things that Epic has ever done. You know, I'll give it this. It added no build. Like, I'm not personally a massive no build player, but whenever I'm like feeling bored, or if I'm playing on PC because I'm not good at it, I hop on no build, and it's okay. But like, just... No build's not the problem with this season. The problem with this season is the meta. We had we had the drum shotgun in its most powerful state. They decided to keep the Stinger in the game. We had, I don't know, the AUG, the 3-round burst AUG. I did enjoy using it, but it was ridiculous. That thing had almost no damage fall off. You could do so much to somebody from so far away. And not only that, my fucking most hated weapon in the entire game, the Combat SMG, got added during this season. This shit on release at gold rarity did 24 body shot, 48 headshot, had no bloom, and was just, it was so easy to control, especially on controller. I've tried using it on PC. I now realize that it actually does have quite a bit of kick on PC, but there was a massive exploit found during this season because of just how powerful this weapon was. You could literally, when you start shooting, flick down, go back up, and then you have no recoil. The main reason this season's an F tier is honestly because of the Combat SMG, bro. But that's not the only thing. There was just so many bad additions during this season. My most hated update ever came with this season. The Shotgun Rebalance update, 20.30. I will never forget this. The worst update this game has ever made, arguably. I'll say arguably because they have probably done worse that I'm not really thinking about. This was the update where they decided to just buff the shit out of body shot damage, and then add a max damage cap. So basically, shotguns were just like extremely skillless after this update. You could fucking hit somebody to the body for 130, but then the max damage cap would only let you hit for 185. But guys, it's okay because we don't have 200 damage pups. If you can't tell, I'm really salty about this season. I'm moving on. I don't care. The only saving grace was that the live event was pretty good. That's all I'll say. But now we move on to vibin'. Honestly, I'm definitely going against the grain with this opinion. I honestly do not hate this season. This season, while boring, I don't think was very bad. I mean, the summer event wasn't really that good, but like, just this season, there just really wasn't a whole lot going on for it to like. I mean, I'm struggling with things to come up with for this season. There was just really not that much going on. Overall, I'd honestly just say it was a really inoffensive season. I do know a few people that are not the biggest fans of this season. Roll the clip.
I know, it's just the way I'm thinking. Oh, Fortnite vibe, and I really am gonna kill myself now.
But I honestly don't really share those feelings. I just don't really care. I'm indifferent towards this season. It was okay, and that's all I'll really say. But now we move on to Paradise, which is, in my opinion, the second best season of Chapter 3, which, really not saying much. Shit, this was the season that they added, this was the Chrome season. They added the... They added the cum gun during this season. That was pretty funny. I actually made a video on that, and it did pretty well. I actually really liked the gimmick with the chrome weapons, where you had to deal damage to evolve them. Albeit the chrome shotgun was not that good, but the chrome AR, I really hope it comes back to creative at the very... It's definitely not ever going to come back to normal BR, but I really hope it comes back to creative at some point, because the chrome AR is so good. I really like it. It's awesome, dude. I still remember, like, back during that weird, like, era where there was a map on UEFN with everything that you could use, including, like, save the world weapons. The chrome weapons were also in that map, and they were insane. Or, well, actually, that's the very incorrect word. It was just really nice to use them. That's all I can put it. But honestly, this, overall, I'd say just an okay season with, oh shit, wait. Fracture happened during this season. I don't think that'll change my opinion of where the tiering is, because I honestly just pretend like that event didn't exist, because it realistically... It wasn't even a live event, it was a fucking social event. There was hardly anything happening, except for, like, the first 2 minutes that were just a cutscene. I'm pretty sure there was more planned for that event, but they ended up scrapping it for an unknown reason. But also, I guess on like a competitive side of things, this was the first season, like, since COVID happened, where they did like a LAN tournament for FNCS, and it was, from what I can remember, it was really cool to see, because, like, apparently there was like a single fight during the final game that determined who won, and it was like off spawn, and everybody was extremely hyped around what was going to happen during that fight. And just, I don't know, this I feel like Joe Biden right now. I'm moving on. Chapter 4, Season 1. This season was, it was cool, I think. This was the season with Deku in it, and also fucking Doom Guy. Shit, I don't know. This was with the Shockwave Hammer. This was the first season that added perks to it. Actually, wait, there was that Heat event that happened during the season that was, like, super insane. Yeah, that's moving my ranking up a little bit. I was gonna put it in C tier because I was really kind of struggling to think of things that happened outside of fucking, I don't know. I was struggling to think of things that happened outside of the addition of reality augments. But yeah, the Heat event that happened during this season was really good. And also, this was the last season that had any real significance to the game's lore. This was the last season that felt meaningful towards the story of the game, because now I just feel like random shit happens just at random points in time, and nothing's really connected anymore. And that is especially solidified with the next season, Chapter 4, Season 2 Mega, which, contrary to what I just said about it, I'm actually putting it in S tier because I loved this season was so good, bro. There was so much cool shit happening. The Mega City biome, at least on launch, was really cool, and also the Mythic Havoc pump shotgun at the time doing 250 damage was crazy. And basically just this season had a really good start, and then they added the ODM gear and stuff, which definitely should not have been in competitive. But dude, just I feel like this season was seriously carried by collabs, because we had the fucking Attack on Titan with ODM, and then we had Star Wars, and then they bought back fucking Spider-Man. The collabs this season were crazy, and just the overall gameplay was so fun, especially with the addition of the Rift Island that had the overclocked pulse rifle that was so damn nutty. Dude, this season was just so cool. I love this season, bro. This season good, man. Contrasted heavily with our next season. Chapter 4, Season 3 Wilds. Put on the same level as Resistance and Primal. This was so bad. It was so bad. Not only was the biome bad with like unbreakable foliage that you couldn't see 2 feet in front of yourself, at least on console, because you can't turn down graphic settings, they decided to unvault the drum shotgun and combat SMG, and then later on during the season they decided that it would be a good idea to secretly buff the combat SMG without telling anybody. And I just, dude, I fucking hate Epic Games' balancing team. They're all so bad at their jobs. I swear to God, man. Not only that, but there was also just so much overpowered shit in this season, like the mammoth pistol and the what am I talking about? That wasn't in the season. The mammoth pistol and the explosive repeater rifle. That's what I was trying to say. Those 2 things were broken. They were fucking crazy. The explosive, I don't need to explain why the explosive repeater rifle is overpowered, but the mammoth pistol, it was like a hit scan sniper, pretty much. You could just hit somebody from across the map for over 150 damage, and they wouldn't even know what the fuck to do. Most of the time, you'd probably just kill them, because like, it just does so much damage. But yeah, anyway, I'm done talking about shit seasons. We're moving on to a pretty good season, Last Resort. I would honestly have to say the start of this season was probably one of the best starts to any season ever. The start alone is like either A or S tier, but unfortunately, it did end up falling off. Epic Games, for some reason, decided to add the sticky grenade launcher in the most insane broken state ever. You could double pump it. It was basically you could not outplay it if somebody had 2 Vs and 0 build and was shockwaving over you. Basically, the season is really just bought down by the sticky GL. I'm glad it's gone, and I'm glad it's probably never coming back ever. I'm fully prepared to eat those words in the future, by the way. Yeah, but just overall, a season that could have been really strong, but it just ended up being kind of okay. On like mostly just kind of good. That's all it really was. And now we are moving on to the final S tier of this video, Season OG. I'm sure you all saw this coming. This season was incredible. Just being able to relive the best time of the game, even if just for a month, was awesome. It was great. Just I really don't get why people hate this season. I loved it. I love this season. Call me blinded by nostalgia if you want. Call me a meat rider, because I probably am, but this season was amazing. I love this season so much, man. And now, moving on to the current season, Underground, the first Fortnite season that's made me feel really burnt out. Let's talk for a little bit. Mods, they're pretty cool. But there's not enough mod benches around the map for it to feel like you can really change how you play. The Winterfest was bad. The item shops ever since Lego mode came out have been bad. The new game modes are pretty cool. Weirdly enough, my favorite is Rocket Racing, despite most people saying that it sucks. I don't know why I am the way I am, but I guess that's just how I'm rolling. But yeah, I guess I could also mention massive changes to the shooting model. Pretty much every weapon is projectile now, except for the lock-on pistol that recently got involved, which by default makes it one of the best weapons in this chapter, or best weapons in this season, I should say. But overall, gameplay-wise, I'm really not enjoying it very much, but I'd still give it a B tier because of all the other stuff that's come with this season, like the different game modes. But yeah, I would honestly say this is probably going to be the first season where I play Save the World more than I play BR, because there's more going on there that I would rather be doing than just playing BR. And you know what? Maybe I can make some videos about Save the World. Let me know if you guys would want to watch that. But anyways, that is the finished tier list. We have Didn't Play 0, 1, and 2. F tier, we have Primal, Resistance, and Wilds. D tier, we have Season 9, Chapter 2, Season 1, and Chapter 2, Season 3. In C tier, we have Season 7, Season X, and Vibin. In B tier, we have Season 5, 6, Chapter 2, Season 2, Chapter 2, Season 5, Paradise, Chapter 4, Season 1, Last Resort, and Underground. In A tier, we have Season 3, Season 8, and Stark Season. And then in S tier, we have Season 4, Chapter 2, Season 7, Chapter 2, Season 8, Chapter 3, Season 1, Chapter 4, Season 2, and OG. And yeah, that's it. I'll probably leave the link to this tier list in the description so that you guys can make it yourself. By the way, this is made by me, by the way. So if you're making this tier list and you want to follow me on Twitter, go ahead and do that. But yeah, I'd say that's about it. So I'll just do my outro now. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if not, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I also have a supported creator code, so use that if you want to. But yeah, that's it. See ya.